Welcome back to the Buzzworthy Consultant Podcast, where we chat with the leading thought leaders in the consulting industry. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Andy Audate, a marketing expert helping small businesses sell to more customers with proven marketing systems. Andy has helped thousands of small businesses create marketing campaigns that have generated millions of dollars. Let's see what makes Andy so buzzworthy. Welcome to the show, Andy. How are you today?
Phenomenal, man. I'm excited to be here with you, Buzz, and I'm feeling phenomenal today, man.
Awesome. And you're calling in from Las Vegas, if I remember correctly?
Yes, my office is right on the strip of Las Vegas. I'm looking at Mandalay Bay right now,
Oh,
and
wow.
MGM right across the street. I love it. I
Oh,
love it here.
nice. I know exactly where you're at. I was just there a few months ago with some buddies, and then was in the Air Force. We used to come there because there's an Air Force base right next door to Las Vegas, and we would go there for big exercises, national exercises. So today we're talking about one-to-many marketing for coaches and consultants, which you're an expert at. You have actually helped thousands of coaches and some other small types of businesses actually take their one-to-one services and put it to one-to-many. Now, why would somebody who loves that one-to-one interaction ever consider a one-to-many concept or a one-to-many framework of providing their services?
It's going to be on scalability. We all have 24 hours. So in a working day, you're limited to how many, no matter how many one-to-one meetings, no matter how efficient you are, you're going to be tremendously limited on communicating the value of your product and taking someone who's completely unaware of a problem that they have or unaware of a potential solution for them. And for you to present to them that product and present to them a solution, if you're doing it one-to-one, you're limited no matter how efficient you are. But if you do one-to-many, you have unlimited scale. You can have 10,000 people on a webinar, but you cannot do 10,000 people, 10,000 one-to-one calls in a day.
That's amazing when you think about that. I mean, let's bring it down to some numbers. Like most people they can't even conceive what 10,000 people are, even though we go to football games and there's upwards of 50,000 people, right?
Yeah.
And there is a group of people at the center of that stadium that are entertaining us for 3 hours, right? If you're one-to-one and you have a 3-hour session, that means you only have in a 9-hour day 3 people. These people do it in 3 hours with 50,000 people. So if you think about that in your scalability and what you're actually trying to convey, like Andy was saying, like if you're looking to have that impact, you're usually a coach or a consultant because that's what you're driven by. You've become an expert, an authority at what you do. And now you're trying to share that with other people so that they can have that same type of expertise in what you help them get to, right? And so what's the first step in trying to rethink our business models as coaches and consultants from that one-to-one to the one-to-many framework?
The first step, I mean, realistically, is going to be you got to make the decision. Do you want to do because it's a different model one-to-one. When you're doing one-to-one sales, you're getting on a call and you're going to greet your customer, you're going to build rapport, you're going to qualify them, then you're going to present the solution, and then you're going to close the deal, overcome any objections that they have and that they present to you, and then you're going to go back for another close, right? So you have this framework that most people take. They greet, they qualify, they present, they close, they overcome any objections, and then they close again. Okay. And then they take payment. Now, here's the thing with the one-to-many. The one-to-many, you have to anticipate objections. You have to know what your customers' objections are because you're going to incorporate that into your presentation. You're going to need to build rapport without having anyone talk back to you. So you're going to have to build that rapport and say, hey, I know where you're coming from. I know what you're experiencing. And no one's talking to you, right? No one's responding back to you. So you have the ability to dance on the one-to-one. When you're doing the one-to-many, you're communicating at scale and you're still experiencing that same experience of this guy knows me. This guy understands my challenges. And I have these concerns before making a purchase. Oh, he addressed it in his presentation. That's going to be the difference between someone who's good at one-to-many and someone who's not, is if you can give that one-to-one experience, but in a large group setting.
I love that. And so now, are we talking like webinars, live presentations? Where do we usually do these one-to-many presentations?
100% on webinars. Now, the background that I come from, Buzz, is I was a FSR, field sales representative. So
Okay.
people like Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Les Brown, I would travel around the country and I would fill up seminar rooms for them. I wasn't into the
Okay.
social media space. I wasn't into personal branding. I was a sales guy. And
Mm-hmm.
let's say, like, for example, Les Brown, a motivational speaker. He has millions of
Mm-hmm.
people on his social media. I would get dropped off into a city. Let's say my last city was Dallas with them. And
Mm-hmm.
I get down to Dallas 4 weeks beforehand. My job is to fill up the seminar rooms before he comes in.
Mm.
And then when he comes in, the speaker comes in, then I transition to the next city, and then I'm filling up other seminar rooms, right? Sometimes I don't even stay for the event. That's how that model runs.
Right.
Um, I was doing that pre-pandemic. So 2016, 2017, 2018, 19. 2020, I had a 13 city tour lined up.
Mm-hmm.
The first city was Atlanta, Georgia, and I called them and they told me about what COVID-19 was and how it was impacting the hotels. And one after
Mm-hmm.
the other, we got shut down. So I transitioned
Mm-hmm.
from in person to webinars, and the same system worked. So what I'm talking about today is doing it online, where you can have people in front of you on a webinar on Zoom and sell
Mm-hmm.
your program or your product or
Okay,
service.
so the presentation is now when we're breaking down presentations, from what I understand, and I'm not a webinar guy, and I'm learning as we go. I've been in business for 20 years, and webinars are never my biggest thing, but I see the power in them, and that's why we have you on the show today. But from what I understand is that we are educating, well, and we're identifying a burning problem, and then educating on why that is such a big problem that they need to fix it as soon as possible, teaching them a little bit about what it means to solve the problem, and then maybe doing a little bit of forecasting of like what it looks like when you don't have that problem. um, all of that right there, I think everybody could Google, right? But when you talk about filling a webinar room, that's the secret sauce, right? Like that right there is tough. So, why don't we spend some time helping our listeners understand what it means, or what does it take? What mindset do we have to do, or what efforts do we need to put forth? And we can break this down into each of those segments to fill a room. And what does a full room in the virtual space look like for most small businesses?
a, dude, a full room could be 900 people,
Mm,
as well as a full room could be 9 people.
right.
9 people. Like the big is going to be dependent on for you, but the reality is, even for 9 people on a Zoom room where you have just 9 boxes of strangers or potential customers, that's 9 hours of time that you're saving from doing
Mm,
a one-on-one sales call. Because if we just do the
mm,
math, like
mhm.
let's just say, and I'm gonna get to it because I know time is short. I'm gonna get to it. How to fill up the room, because I got some industry trade secrets that I'll share with you here on
Awesome.
your for your
We're all
audience.
ears. Take your
But
time.
if we do the math, and we're talking about a 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and 15-minute presentation, right? And you're
Hmm.
sitting down with somebody. Let's say that for math sakes, 30 minutes it takes you to set up for the presentation. You're do B2B, so you're going to their
Hmm.
website, you're going to go check out their social medias, and then you're preparing your documentation of what you're going to present. You're doing your research. That takes you
Hmm.
30 minutes. Then you do an hour with the actual person and you're understanding their business and you're finding out the solution for them. You spend an
Hmm.
hour. Then you take another 30 minutes to put all of that into the CRM, plus the email follow-up, plus the let me send you the proposal, all those pieces. So that's 2 hours
Hmm.
for one person. 2 hours that you,
Mm,
if you take that same experience and you multiply that with 9 people, that's 18 hours that you would be
mm,
spending for 9 people. I can take those 9 people, or you could take those 9 people, put them into a Zoom call, and share with them the whole entire end-to-end solution that you have, and get
mhm,
3 people to say not interested, 3 people to say not right now, and 3 people to say yes. But it only took you 1 hour to present to that 9 people, and at the
yeah.
end, you still got the same result, if not better, by having this model.
Yeah, and then even if you have say you had the 3 people and you have one of those services where you do need to interview them, you gotta make sure you gotta qualify them for the rest of the way. They can't just sign up, because not everybody who signs up is gonna be a good client, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe you do have to have one more meeting. Maybe it's another half an hour to close it up, for you, or at least qualify them and then close them, get the payment, all that stuff. If only 3 of them raise their hand, you just saved yourself 6 other appointments. Right. So, I know that a lot of people are thinking that, like, well, wait a second, I have a 2-call system. Well, if your first call is with the masses and you only have to actually have the second call with the people who raise their hand, you're saving yourself that trouble there. And I also think that you're testing faster when it comes to what I'm looking at the marketing standpoint, is I'm testing faster when I'm telling the same message to a bulk of people versus one after another, after another, after another, right?
Yes.
And so that means that I can understand how many yeses and how many no's a lot faster. So if I have, say, 3 webinars in a week and I had a total of 50 people that I talked to, most of us don't have time to do 20 calls. Now I got 50. So I got 2.5 times more yeses or nos. So I can statistically figure out, oh, my message is landing, or wait, I have the wrong people in the room. That means my message is the wrong message for in the marketing to get them into the room. So let's talk about, how do we get people into these rooms? Everybody hates webinars.
I'm going to give you 3 out of probably like 56 strategies that we have, just for time's sake. One is something called chat automation. Okay. Chat automation is a strategy that I use. My mentors come from the 80s. Like, they were operating seminars in the 80s. And because I was in my early 20s when I started this journey in the seminar world, what they taught me was, you take a notepad, a legal pad, and you give it to the audience. So I remember, like, I was doing a presentation. Now, the way that we fill up for these gurus and motivational speakers, the way that we fill up is, when I get dropped down to a city, I go to a real estate event, or I'll go to car dealerships. Like for Green Cardone's people, I go to a car dealerships. And I remember this one time I was at Norm Reeves Honda in California, and there was like 80 people and I'm doing my presentation now. I'm generating leads. So I pass out my notepad, right? And maybe there's like 80 people in there. 20 something people are putting their name, email, phone number slowly, like name, email, phone number, pass it on. That's how I'm generating leads. Guess what happens? Around the 20th person, Joe spills a cup of coffee on the whole notepad. And I'm like, oh man. So I got to start all over again. And think how frustrated, like, why am I giving you my number again? Like they start asking, like, what am I giving? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to send you the ebook. And it's like, you know what? I don't even want the ebook. It's so hard. So there's this new technology where you can have your audience send you a keyword, and that keyword starts an automation where the software will ask them for their name, their email, and pull in their phone number automatically within a minute. And all of those people, you can get all of their name, email, and phone number in less than 3 minutes, because they're all having an individual conversation with the software, allowing you to capture their name, email, and phone number. So that's called chat automation.
Okay.
I will use that system on Instagram, on Facebook, in person, and in-person events. So I'm going to say, hey, I have an event coming up, or I have a webinar coming up. You're going to learn the 6 keys on filling up your pipeline. If you're interested, DM me the word 6. When they DM the word 6, it says, okay, great. I'll send you more information about the event. What is your name? Got it. What's your email? Got it. And what's your phone number? Plugs in that information automatically into the CRM. And then I can automatically enroll them into an email and text message marketing campaign to then have them come to the webinar. So that's the first thing. That's number 1.
Love it.
Number 2 is that we do a like an in-kind sponsorship, where I go to top speakers in a specific territory or a specific community, or influencers, and I ask them, hey, would you mind speaking at this event? Most people, if you want them to be your customer, like you're going to do the follow-up journey with them. But if you ask them to speak on a stage, now they're going to be like, yeah, of course. I want to, yeah, put me up on stage, baby. Put me up on stage. And so it's much easier to turn influencers into customers by giving them a platform. Now, however, there's something that I have in exchange. All I ask is for you to speak at my event. All I ask for, instead of you paying to speak at my event, which is industry standard for the platform speakers, instead of you paying to speak at my event, I'll ask you to bring in an audience. So can you bring in 10 people? Can you bring in 15? Can you bring in 30 people? Can you bring in 40 people? So that's number two. So I seek the influencers rather than the actual end users or the attendees. And then I have them bring in the audience.
And then the secret is that those influencers are influencing your target market.
Ideally, yeah. Ideally, that they have access to my target market or your target market, whoever's listening. The third thing is that you use the technology. This is all built in a software called Progretta. But the third thing that you do is you use the technology to automatically follow up for what we call a buddy pass. And a buddy pass is everyone who registers, we let them know that, hey, there's a couple of seats left. Who are 2 people that you would like to invite to this event? Register them here. Or send them the link to register. So that means if I go to Bob, who's an influencer in a city, like let's say I go, I'm going to the Philippines in 3 weeks. I've never held an event in the Philippines. I got over 100 people registered for my in-person event, 300 opt-ins on this, and I've never held an event in the Philippines before. This is just something I'm testing. What I did is I just went to couple of influencers that I saw on social media, and I said, hey, I'm coming in. Do you want to speak? And they're like, yeah, come in. So now they go in to speak, and I'm like, hey, who do you know in your territory that you can bring in? And like, dude, I got a huge email list. Let's do it, right?
Nice.
Now the automatic email campaign is, hey, we got a couple more seats left. Who do you want to invite to this event? Whether it's paid or free, you can still have other people come in, and then they register other people, or they send the content to other people. So 3 things. Number 1, you generate your own leads. That's chat automation. Number 2, you help, you get support from influencers who's going to speak at your event. They're responsible for 10, 15, 25% of the audience, but their value is that the remaining of the audience is going to also be there. That is not from them. So they're getting more exposure. So sometimes you don't even have to fill up the room. Your speakers, your influencers can fill up the room for you. And then the last piece is having an automation that allows for that buddy pass where it just keeps re-inviting other people. So last year we did, I don't run Facebook ads for my webinar. Last year I got 6,543 people registered for my webinar, not $1 on Facebook ads. It was all through the buddy pass system.
I love it. I love that. And some folks who have never been in this space before, in the virtual world, we call them summits. Right? Yeah. And virtual summits are still, like, a lot of people got burnt out from virtual summits during COVID, but I think there's a bounce back if you do it right. And I think it's really just having that promise and not having too many speakers. I think that there's a lot of people in the virtual space. When we're talking about live events, logistically, there's only so many speakers you're going to put on the stage, right? And you could do panels, though, to where you have 5 people on stage. So there's 5 influencers all getting interviewed at one time. We're doing one-to-many on one-to-many, right? Because we're now able to get the audiences for all 5 of those people, but they're only taking up the amount of time of one person versus 5 different people speaking. And so if you're running something like that, you don't want to be one speaker after another speaker. And if it's too short, they're not getting enough. It's too long, people are going to sleep or tuning out, right? And so be careful with that. So if you're going to have 10 people, pick your top 3 influencers and use them as your keynotes. And then the rest of them, maybe put 2 panels together of 3 and 4 people a piece. And then now you still are only taking up maybe 2 hours for your summit, right? Unless you're doing a full day, extravaganza, but we found out the shorter is better, right? So when we're doing these types of events, what is the perfect length?
It depends on what the outcome is. If you're selling, if you're selling one product, if you're selling one low ticket product, you can do it in a 90-minute presentation. If you're selling a high ticket, I've, for example, I've taken strangers who are unaware of me and my product, unaware of the problem that they have, unaware of the solution that's available, and unaware of our product that's available for them. And in a 2-day training, sell a $7,000 or $10,000 offer after a 2-day training. Now it's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then on Friday, then 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday with lunch in between. That's where our summits are. But then there's the free webinars that I'll do, which is 90 minutes, which is typically on the low end. So if you're selling a low ticket product, less time. If you're selling a very high ticket product and there's a heavy investment made, there's heavy reasoning, then you want to have a little bit more time to really showcase the value and what you're going to take them through. and what they're going to experience with you.
So what is the one thing that people should be cognizant of before leaping into the one-to-many framework?
The one thing that someone should be aware of before leaping into the one-to-many framework, all I see is truly upside.
All right.
All I see is the upside.
I get the upside, but there's always that hidden snare. It's not a bad snare. It's just something that's going to create resistance and maybe scare people as they're getting into it. And so I always feel like it's always good to know, like, what's that first hurdle that they're going to have to overcome to be successful? Because if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah. Good that you came out of me. Got it. You're getting it out of me. One of the things that I found is, so I've helped, right now I have a coaching program with a group. There's about, 1,300 marketing agency owners that I coach on the one-to-many strategy. And the biggest challenge that I see is like the fear of speaking. Is like me getting in front of an audience and everyone looking at me. I can sit down and have a conversation one-on-one, but like the idea of me speaking, that's so daunting. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. And my communication to that person is going to be recognizing that you're at least one chapter ahead than the audience. You're at least one chapter. So if you can get the audience to move that one chapter and they experience progress, that's the value that they're looking to get to. Because a speaker many times is like, they know there's something there's some type of deficit, there's something that's missing. And they may look at another person that's 10 chapters ahead of them and they're like, yeah, but I'm not where that person is. And your audience has no clue who that person is.